Dopa, or Apto, is one of the most well-known high elo players in the world, and is sometimes referred to as the evil faker. He is most infamous for having a 1,000-year ban in Korea for boosting and is banned on site, similar to Tyler 1, or if you remember this old gem, XJ9. This is why we often see him playing on the Chinese servers. When he does play in Korea, though, he uses a secret name and eventually gets banned when he is found out to be Dopa. He has achieved rank 1 in Korea multiple times with insanely high win rates for a long time and can consistently reach high elo with win rates of over 80%. Today, we're going to explore how he's able to climb so well and understand what makes Dopa so good. But before we get into that, make sure to drop a like, share, subscribe, comment, and all that stuff, because we're getting close to 100,000 subscribers. And if you don't sub immediately, you will lose every single upcoming Clash tournament. Now, let's see what makes Dopa so good. A video about Dopa would not be complete if we didn't talk about his champion selection. The man loves Twisted Fate. And why is it that Twisted Fate does so well in SoloQ? It's because Twisted Fate brings a little bit of everything. He doesn't excel at one particular thing, but he does everything that you'd want a mid laner to do, just enough to where Dopa has good impact on every single match in SoloQ. TF has great wave clear, he has relatively safe laning if he needs to, he has relatively aggressive laning if he needs to, he's got good split pushing, he's got good roams, he's got good early game skirmishing, he's got great wave clear, he's got a little bit of every single aspect that you want from a mid laner, and he plays to those strengths in such a beautiful way every single game. But it's not enough for Dopa to just play TF every game, because obviously if we could play TF every game, there would be so many more players doing exactly what Dopa does. There's something about Dopa's personality, though, that really pushes him over the edge, and we're going to talk about that next. Many people have made analysis videos on Dopa and have tried to replicate this perfect playstyle, but no matter how hard Midbeast tries to be Dopa, it never seems to work. Jokes aside, when I watch Dopa play, it is so clear that every movement and decision has reason and thought behind it. The man does not die for free ever, and it always seems as though he's trying his very absolute hardest to minimize even the slightest risk. His itemization is always as safe as it could possibly be, but at the same time, there are moments in matchups such as Twisted Fate versus Akali, where he will go Ignite and will actually play to hard win his lane himself. But generally speaking, Dopa will always be fully aware of protecting his leads, protecting his control of the game, and minimizing those emotional lapses of judgment where he decides to punt off his advantage. Now, it seems obvious to just die less if you want to perform more like Dopa, but let me pose some thoughts to you. When you die to a gank in SoloQ, did you know the exact time frame that your opponent was finishing his camps? Because chances are Dopa does know that. If you engaged a team fight and your opponent used a stopwatch and then you died, chances are Dopa already checked that his opponent had stopwatch and didn't go for that engage. In the mid game, when you got caught split pushing because you took one too many creep waves, chances are Dopa did not take that same exact creep wave because he was very well aware of the fact that he could possibly be caught. These are the little decisions that pushes Dopa over the macro edge and allows him to take such a simple champion like TF, and through good risk management and very, very stable decision making, gets those results that a lot of people wish they had. Dopa obviously reviews his games a lot, and this is something that the average League of Legends player does not do very well. The amount of times that I see a player go into the post-game lobby and immediately queue right up after feeding, after being carried, is just too high. One way that you can minimize a lot of that lack of information is by going through that match history and reviewing your replay after a game. But I even have a little trick for you. If, before you queue up for a game, you simply download the match in your match history and open it, you can Alt-Tab and then go right back into queuing. And while you wait in the queue, you can actually go through the replay and figure out those situations that didn't go your way. Maybe you got caught by a gank, maybe an all-in caught you off guard. You can review it and see if you were standing in the wrong spot. Maybe you didn't ward properly. There's always a little bit more information to gain, and guess what? If you compare yourself to Dopa, he's probably watched thousands of hours of just junglers pathing because, let's face it, the man's got some OCD tendencies. So you can very easily apply this to your game, and while it does bore some players, those little investments of time can make all the difference in your solo queue games. Hate it or love it, Dopa may be the best solo queue player to have ever played League of Legends. And I think it's very interesting that his playstyle is so not what you would expect. When Faker first burst into the competitive scene, I remember it being with LeBlanc and people being wowed by the fancy outplay potential that Faker possessed. Now, obviously Dopa doesn't do that. He plays Twisted Fate. He focuses on those little minor intricacies, those little details, and he does just enough to make sure that he's applying pressure to the map, but he just doesn't seem to die ever. That consistency is something that you can replicate in your games, maybe once, maybe twice in a row, but can you do it every single game? Because, like it or not, Dopa will do that with his chair at the exact position that it was 5 months ago, with the same mouse that he's used for however many years ago, with the same result of rank 1 every single time. Alright guys, I hope you liked this rundown on Dopa's gameplay. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. It's extremely appreciated and it helps with YouTube's janky algorithms. Also, you guys can feel free to comment what you guys would like to see next. I will be reading. Thank you again for watching. You guys are amazing and I'll see you next time. Peace, crackers.